And these channels provide us with access to all of our previous talks, which is fantastic. So, you want something to do on a Monday night, go back to our YouTube channel and check out the latest speakers. It's very uplifting. So today's speaker is Reverend Robin Volker. She will be discussing or sharing with us the secret of order. And I'll just share a little bit with you about Reverend Robin. So she's an ordained minister and a certified life coach. She has served in some professional capacity in Unity churches since 1998. She served as the minister of Unity of Delaware in Ohio and Unity of Gainesville in Georgia. And she currently mentors 2 churches without ministers as a consultant with Unity Worldwide Ministries. Reverend Robin lives in the North Georgia mountains with her lovely husband, Rick, and their wonderful lab. And that's in the southern USA. So, Reverend Robin, I welcome you now.
Thank you, C. Good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to be with you again. And just collapsing time and space and being able to feel like I'm connected with you heart to heart across the airways. What joy it is. So today, I want to talk about the idea of divine order, and trying to explain divine order in 20 minutes or less is like trying to explain what God is in a moment. So I will give it my best shot. I want to invite you to think about how you view life. And sometimes, do you think that life is a beautifully orchestrated dance and that you have been invited to learn the steps? I heard that some of you were dancing yesterday, and so you had to learn the steps to that dance. Is life the same way? Imagine that life is a complex choreography made up of moments of chance encounters, what may seem like lucky breaks, and decisions that are really no big deal at first glance. But what we find is that the universe is nudging us along, taking us to places we didn't expect, or connecting us with just the right people at just the right time. A minister friend of mine and I prayed together every week for a couple of years, and she always prayed the same prayer. She prayed for divine order. And I asked her, why do you always pray the same prayer? And her answer was, if I have divine order, everything else falls in place. So here's what Jesus said on the subject. From Matthew 6:28 and 28 through 30. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil or spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not clothed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So what is the secret order in nature? Isn't it curious how, despite being at the top of the evolutionary ladder, we humans find it tricky to live in harmony and get along? While our animal friends and the plants and the birds, they seem to get it right without even trying. They've got this natural knack for adapting and growing and just being, and they don't put up the fuss that we do. But here we are with our big brains and the ability to make choices. And yet sometimes, does it feel like you're struggling to figure out how to fit in the world? Does it seem like you don't know how to lead a fulfilling life or build strong connections? It's all about the choices that we make. Last month, the focus was on the power of will, I believe. And as it turns out, we may be leaning a bit too heavily on that ability, and it can lead us into some sticky situations because we are either being willing or willful. And when we use our willpower, we want to use it strategically to set a course for our lives. But the real magic happens when we ensure that the direction is good for us. It's about bringing order and making sure we're headed toward what's best. Our ability to think and reason and choose is such a gift. Such a gift. But it's easy to forget that and let ourselves be swept away by the currents of life circumstances and by material things, and worst of all, by other people's expectations. So, how do we find our way back? How do we find our way back into balance with that inner spirit? And how do we make divine adjustments and nurture right relationships? Today, I want to offer that the first step is activate cooperation. Here's an interesting idea. When we weave divine order into our lives, it's like teaming up with the universe itself and following a path that's laid out by higher wisdom. Now, I'm not talking about predestination. I'm talking about an omniscient wisdom, an all-knowing wisdom, that when we align with that, everything else falls in place. When we pray and affirm divine order, it does not go it alone, but divine order brings all the other powers to the party. Isn't that cool? It brings with it faith and strength and wisdom and love. And when they all join forces, it's like they're throwing the most heartwarming and enriching gathering for our personal benefit. No wonder my minister friend only prayed for divine order, because she was wise enough to know that divine order doesn't travel alone. Incorporating these spiritual powers into our everyday life is akin to syncing our actions and decisions with a master plan of harmony and balance. And this harmonization not only enriches our personal voyage, but it also sends out waves of positivity into the world around us. So when you pray and affirm divine order for those that you love and those that you are concerned about and that you care for, just as you have this morning in the chat and with your prayers, you are indeed sending out those waves of positivity into those places that may feel dark for others. When we understand the relationship between order and the other spiritual powers, it opens a door so that our lives are not just orderly and streamlined, but they are beautifully meaningful and wonderfully balanced. The second step I'd like you to know today is to know your values. Embracing your personal values is like having a compass for your life, and it steers your actions and decisions and how you interact with others. Getting to know and live by what matters to you is like mapping out a trajectory that brings fulfillment, and it helps your authentic self to show up. Think of it this way. Your values are the heartbeat of your beliefs. Your values are the heartbeat of your beliefs. They make sure that your life story is a true reflection of who you are. And this harmony between your actions and your beliefs, it concretes in your integrity. Putting your values front and center means you're more likely to attract folks who get you, like-minded people with whom you can build deep friendships and connections that really mean something in your life. In essence, it's all about celebrating what makes you unique and making choices that sing to your soul. This paves the way for a truly satisfying journey through life. Now let's talk about practicing patience. In Mark 4:28, scripture says, "The earth produces of itself first the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear." Embracing patience in our journey of growth is like understanding the rhythm in nature itself. Think back to the very start of your personal and spiritual growth. Was it like that first peek of a blade through the soil, signaling the start of something new and exciting? It was for me. As new ideas and intentions began to take shape, then I was able to be filled up and to fill out like the ear of corn would do on the stalk. It's a beautiful process to think about taking your life from a tiny seed to a piece of ripe fruit that mirrors your own growth. And when we look at nature, it reminds us that we can't hurry it along and force things that don't work. I didn't plant any corn this year. I have moved away from vegetables more toward flowers. And my latest attachment is to dahlias. Now, I don't know, can you grow dahlias up there in the far north? So I tried it last year. I had some beautiful blooms, and then I dug my bulbs up and they didn't overwinter. I'm going to try to do it differently this year. So I bought more, but I didn't get them in the ground until the beginning of July. I was late and I couldn't hurry that process. It took weeks for those bulbs to finally push through the soil, and we had a very dry summer. I had to water every day. And finally, I got those shoots to come up, and then it took forever to build the stalk and the stem and get blooms. And there was no way that I could force that or hurry it along. Perhaps behind me, I'll go this way, you can see some of my dahlias that finally got here. And it took great patience. Our rush to get to the finish line can make things tougher. And the more that we speed things up, the more pressure we put on ourselves, and we put pressure on our relationships. We're trying to get things done ahead of their time. So this is particularly clear in our spiritual practice, where the tendency is we want a quick fix or we want to show off our spiritual muscles, right? And then we may even get into competition with our fellow travelers. And boy, what a mess that can be. So real growth dances at its own beat in its own timeline. And by letting patience lead, We can weave that thread of calm and order through all the aspects of our lives. And when we get that bloom, then we can celebrate. We can celebrate. Patience is about being gentle and kinder and more understanding. And it helps us to respond with care rather than with impulse. Think about bringing patience into any personal disagreements that might have occurred for you. Take a moment and breathe. Tackle those challenges with a cool head. Pave the way toward smoother resolutions. And allow patience to be the keystone that holds your life in balance and order, and enjoy living with less stress and deeper relationships. So we move then to begin where you are. Start right where you are to establish order in your life. Making the most of what you've got, tap into all of your spiritual powers. Tap into power and imagination and understanding and zeal. This whole adventure of life is not about us bossing around others to get our version of how things should be. It's more about beefing up our spiritual base to support our personal growth. So we want to acknowledge that where we are is part of our strategy. It's our beginning point. Where we stand and acknowledging that is like unlocking a secret weapon that brings order into our lives. This beginning place is important today, right where you are. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about setting goals that make sense and recognizing what's good for you and recognizing where you might need a boost. So let's celebrate every win, no matter how small. Look at your beautiful spiritual community. The two communities coming together to make each one stronger. And together you create a step-by-step game plan that helps you hit your targets. It helps the people in your community to have personal development and deeper spiritual connection and broader spiritual community. What a beautiful thing you're doing. So beautiful. And every one of you brings a different talent to the party. So as you practice these ideas of divine order, then everyone gets a healthy dose of patience and stick-to-itiveness, and you can realize that the big leaps and bounds in life come from you plugging away a little bit at a time, day by day. And it's so beautiful. So the fifth step I want to bring is to allow harmony. Charles Fillmore said this. He said, the divine idea of order is the idea of adjustment. And as this is established in your thought, your mind and affairs will be at one with the universal harmony. Let me say that again, because often we need to read Charles more than once to really get the depth of what he meant. The divine idea of order is the idea of adjustment. And as this is established in your thought, your mind and affairs will be at one with the universal harmony. So we kick off our journey toward harmony in mind and body and life by aligning ourselves with divine principle. And Charles, like Jesus, promised us that when we did that, when we do that, that life will unfold for us in beautiful, perfect ways that we can't imagine. When we tune in to the ultimate resource of God's omnipresent goodness, that goodness becomes ours. That wellspring begins to flow into our lives. So imagine thinking and feeling in harmony with the universe's spiritual laws, that those laws are playing a grand cosmic symphony behind you, and that you are indeed the conductor of that symphony. So let these truth principles resonate deeply in your heart and truly embrace the goodness that surrounds you. Incorporating harmony into our lives is finding the perfect balance where everything just flows smoothly, and work and balance and relationships and self-care all come together. We steer clear of the extremes that can disrupt our peace, and we listen to that beautifully orchestrated harmony behind us. So we choose wisely how we allocate our time and our resources. We ensure that our work doesn't consume our personal lives and well-being, myself included. And this approach helps us to keep stress at bay. It prevents burnout. And when we adopt a harmonious mindset, we become flexible and open. And it equips us to deal with those unexpected uncertainties. In the realm of relationships, harmony involves fostering understanding and collaboration. It involves actively listening, a readiness to compromise, an appreciation for different perspectives. And this approach reduces conflicts and it strengthens our bonds, and it sets the stage for a peaceful and orderly life. What a beautiful thing that is. So, as we begin to prepare for a time of reflection and meditation, let's remember to activate cooperation, to know our values, to practice patience, to begin right where we are, and to allow harmony to be established for us. So just turn within and bring in that special connection. Perhaps close your eyes. Just allow my words to be your words. Find the breath within your body. With each out breath, just allow all tension and stress to flow out. Pausing at the end of the out breath until your body needs to breathe again. And when you're ready, allow that in breath to fill you up. Again, pushing all the breath out. Pausing at the bottom. Waiting for your body to breathe you at your own pace. We call upon divine order for balance in our daily journey. If this morning, for any reason, you feel overwhelmed with responsibilities, or if your life seems out of balance, The invitation is to turn away from outer appearances. Focus on that relaxing breath. Picture your life as falling beautifully into place. Perhaps imagine a beautiful path unfolding before you. Perhaps it has beautiful plants and flowers along the sides. And you can hear a bubbling brook off in the distance. This path is your path to discovery and joy. With each step you take, it moves you forward in your life. In this quiet moment, no matter what disharmony or disorder may have been in your experience a moment ago, imagine your life coming into clarity and order against a backdrop of gratitude, spiritual purpose, and direction. As you walk along this path that is unfolding with each step you take, you realize that you are not alone. But indeed, divine order is bringing all its friends to take this walk through your life. Faith and strength are walking with you. Wisdom and love are coming two by two. Imagination, will, and understanding. Zeal and release, and life itself are all walking with you. If you are praying for or wishing for something that has not yet appeared, trust that your good is coming in divine timing, just as the bloom on the dahlia came in its right time. See your body working in divine order, healthy and whole and full of the energy of life. Let's pause for a few of our relaxing breaths as we allow the essence of this beauty and balance and perfect timing to become deeply entrenched in our consciousness. With this next breath, begin to return your attention to the space where you sit. Feel the breath completely in your body. And I invite you to affirm with me. There is one presence and one power in my life. All else falls into place. I claim divine order now. I claim divine order now. And so it is. Let us remember as we go forth that God has no limits. And guess what? Neither do you. When we tap into this awesome realization that everything in our lives can just click into place, then we have a brand new game of life that we can play at a whole new level. Our minds become sharper, our bodies feel unstoppable, our emotions are smooth. And when challenges come, they don't knock us down because we believe in the power of divine order to bring us peace, plenty, harmony, and joy. So we open our minds to a world where everything works out, not by chance, not by good luck, but by a spirit of God that lives within us and brings our lives together as if by magic. But we know it's not magic, it's alignment. We accept it, we claim it, we bless it, we activate it, we live it. So go forth and live in divine order. God bless you.